All right, guys. So the Crystal Lake TV show has wrapped its filming for season one. We've been covering this thing pretty heavily for the past year or so. And after a lot of false starts on this series, they moved on from Brian Fuller. It just wasn't working out creatively. They brought over Brad Caleb Kane, who, finished up the first season of It's Welcome to Derry TV show, and he was brought over just over a year ago, I believe. And here we are. Season one has wrapped filming. Of course, I would imagine there is some post-production work and all that kind of good stuff. I'm expecting to see this series February or March because we have a Friday the 13th in each one of those months here in 2026. So that's what I am have my eye on. But let's take a look at this article here. There are some pictures of their wrap party, which is pretty fun. We can skim through those, but I am curious to know from you guys that are hanging out in the live chat and the folks that are watching after the fact, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for the Crystal Lake TV series? And to piggyback on that, what do you expect? So how excited are you, and what kind of reaction are you expecting to have to this TV show? Do you think it's gonna do you think it's gonna jazz you up for the future of Friday the 13th and the future of Jason, or do you think it's just gonna be another one of these prequel shows that's okay but doesn't really move the needle for you? I'm curious to know, so let me know in the live chat, and if you're watching after the fact, jump on into the comments and let me know. So this article has got a headline that says Friday the 13th TV series Crystal Lake has wrapped filming, and this one comes to us by way of John Squires over at Bloody Disgusting, and we got that shot of Ken Kersinger's Jason from Freddy versus Jason right there. Ken's a very, very sweet guy. I met him earlier this summer. Very nice. And the article says, showrunner Brad Caleb Kane has revealed on Instagram that filming on A24 and Peacock's Friday the 13th prequel series Crystal Lake has wrapped. Quote, Crystal Lake wrap party was epic, he writes. I'm madly in love with and totally in awe of this stellar bunch of artists and humans. A fella couldn't ask for a more talented and wonderful group of collaborators. Season one, almost sorta, not quite, done and dusted. More please and thank you, end quote. Actor Cameron Scoggins shares in his own Instagram post, quote, what a journey since June. To be a part of Crystal Lake has been the dream of a lifetime. Thank you to A24 and Peacock for the opportunity. Thank you to the incredible crew for being the best group of people to be around every day. And huge thanks to the true maestro, Brad Caleb Kane, who has taken on this legendary franchise with such respect, wit, and infectious enthusiasm. Y'all ain't ready for what this man is about to give you, end quote. Okay, so that's pretty encouraging. I mean, of course, these people are going to be pumped on something they were a part of, but I like when it doesn't just sound like a statement that a publicist put together. We get a lot of, almost like the way a coach talks, where they're like, it's going to reinvigorate the franchise for new and old fans, very, very, kind of regular stuff. I feel like this has a little bit more of a genuine feel behind it. And Scoggins also adds, quote, I can't wait for people to see this thing and for the fans of the franchise to get to spend more quality time with the beautifully colorful denizens of this infamously cursed town and its most famous undying resident. I have no idea when that will be, but for now, it's a wrap and my heart is full, end quote. And yes, as the article says here, Crystal Lake will likely premiere sometime in 2026. Callum Vinson is playing a young Jason Voorhees in the series, with Linda Cardellini starring as Mrs. Voorhees. And the series will serve as an expanded prequel to the 1980 slasher. So, we have more casting information here and all that. We've covered all of this stuff ad nauseum here on the channel, so I'm going to give you guys a break. And also, IMDb exists, so you can always look at that if you'd like to just go through the cast and crew and everything. But here are some pictures from Brad Caleb Kane's Instagram here. This is just the wrap party. Looks very casual, very fun. There's nothing meaty or anything like that in these pictures. It's just a bunch of actors and performers kicking it and hanging out. It looks like they've got in the background there over their heads, it looks like they have utilized the bar's TVs to maybe show off some behind the scenes photos, because that looks like some of the performers and the settings back there. So I can't really, see too much there, but it looks like that is from the show. A nice little blurry "we've been drinking" kind of picture there, of course. And then we've got Linda Cardellini there alongside an actress whose name I can't think of off the top of my head. So I'm very sorry. Maybe I'll put it in bold print right across the screen on the News Bits video. But there you go, some pictures of the Crystal Lake TV show wrap party. Yeah, guys, I am looking forward to this one. I know when I first started covering this TV show about a year ago, I was like heartbroken and like, what the hell's going on? Can we even trust these people? And as the news has started to come out and we've seen some of these behind the scenes pictures and all of that, it's encouraged me and it's made me realize like maybe I don't need to be so negative until I see the thing. I mean, it could be awesome. It could totally be terrible. We could never get season 2 of this thing, or it could launch Jason into, a really awesome era, something that a lot of us fans have been waiting for. I mean, it's been a long time since the 09 remake. There's been nothing since then. And, regardless of how you feel about that remake, a lot of, what was coming from Friday the 13th in the late 80s through the 90s wasn't super solid either. So I am maintaining positivity about the Crystal Lake TV show. Like I said, I think we're going to get it in February or March on one of those Friday the 13ths. So I would expect, now that filming has wrapped and everything like that, we could get a trailer by Thanksgiving or middle of December, something like that. We should see some sort of trailer for the TV show. Man, hopefully they can put together a teaser, by Thanksgiving. But I'm excited. It's all yet to be seen, but I'm looking forward to checking this out when it's ready to go. And I'm curious to know what you guys think. So if you're hanging out in the live chat, let me know your thoughts. And if you're watching after the fact, jump on into the comments. Give me your thoughts on the Crystal Lake series down below. Maybe tell me a couple things that you want to see from this series. I'm curious to know, what you guys have in your mind's eye, or where your expectations are falling on this. So let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share the channel with someone who you think would dig this kind of content, because we're covering horror news all the time here. So, movies, TV shows, books, comics, video games, fan films, whatever, as long as it piques our interest or tickles our fancy, we're going to cover it right here. So make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing.